Carl Azuz with CNN 10, your daily 10 minutes of world news explained. The Terminal High Altitude Area Defense, or THAAD, is a missile defense system. It uses missiles to stop missiles. And the U.S. has deployed the first components of a THAAD system to South Korea. Why? Because North Korea, which is a rival of both the South and the U.S., has been test launching missiles of its own lately, and the THAAD system could potentially be used in self-defense. In a clear example of how tensions have been rising in the Korean Peninsula and abroad, China is getting involved in this. It's North Korea's only real ally in the world, and it's telling North Korea to suspend its nuclear weapons program, which other countries consider illegal. But Chinese officials are also strongly opposed to the U.S. sending a THAAD system to South Korea. They believe it could be used to monitor potential missile launches from China as well. How exactly does a THAAD system work, and could it be effective against ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles?
This missile defense system is a state-of-the-art array of vehicles, typically 9 of them. Most of them are launchers, but they also have a couple of command centers, and they have an advanced radar system which both acquires the targets and helps guide these missile-killing missiles toward that target. About 70 missiles would be with all of these trucks out here, and each one would be about like this, about 20 feet long, weigh about 2,000 pounds. This is the booster down here. That gets it going, and once it gets closer to the target, this part will break away, leaving only the front. Up here, you have some advanced electronics and infrared system that will unshroud in flight so it can seek out the target very specifically, and a control system that helps guide it in. Collectively, all of this is called the kill vehicle, and the range on it, not too bad. Across the ground, it can go about 125 miles away and about 16 miles high. Now, does it explode when it gets there? No, not at all. What it does is simply intercept and ram into the target. Look at this video from the military. Bear in mind, when this thing takes off and it's meeting up with an incoming missile, a threat out there, the incoming missile may very well be traveling close to 4,000 miles an hour. So when they hit, that's the result. Military analysts say you can't really use this so effectively against great big ICBMs, but for short range and middle range missiles, the kind that South Korea might be worried about from North Korea, yeah, it's got a pretty good record.
10-second trivia. Which of these holidays was first held in 1911? World Health Day, International Nurses Day, World Malaria Day, or International Women's Day? In 1911, the first International Women's Day was held in Austria, Denmark, Germany, and Switzerland. It was partially inspired by the efforts of American women to attain the right to vote, better pay, and shorter working hours. Now, every year on March 8th, International Women's Day remembers the progress made and obstacles faced by women. It also celebrates their courage and determination throughout history and the present. All around the world, rallies, performances, and marches were held as part of the event. Separately, marches that coincided with International Women's Day were held in the U.S. They were part of a nationwide strike called A Day Without a Woman. It aimed to draw attention to women's struggles in the workplace. Several school districts were closed so that teachers could participate. Another international issue we've been highlighting is modern-day slavery. The reports you've seen in our show are part of CNN's Freedom Project, which aims to draw attention to slavery and human trafficking and help expose the criminals who are involved in it. If you'd like to find out more about how people are participating, the My Freedom Day hashtag is active on Twitter and Instagram. So are some students at a private school in Georgia's capital.
Atlanta, the center of America's civil rights movement in the 20th century. Today, home to many victims of modern-day slavery. It's a global issue these teenagers are determined to fight locally.
Everyone's going to be volunteering, helping.
Founded in 2011, this club at the Atlanta International School was the idea of a couple of students who had a passion for social justice. Now they've stirred a movement among young people.
Everyone in this entire room is going to be working with us throughout.
From bake sales to selling fair trade chocolate, these students raise funds and awareness.
What do students learn about modern-day slavery by selling this type of chocolate?
Well, we just wanted to put the message out that fair trade, getting chocolate that's been produced ethically without human trafficking, is so much easier than a lot of people think.
Child labour and modern-day slavery are just some of the issues being discussed.
Okay, question.
The group meet in their lunch break every Wednesday. It's led by 3 students, including Kip McCarthy and Amelia Castillo.
I was really surprised at the scale of the issue.
As you started to learn about this, what surprised you most?
I think that it surprised me most that it was such a problem that hit so close to home.
When you speak to people your own age, how do you explain this issue? It's a pretty tough issue to talk about.
Yeah, I would say the first step is to make it approachable. Labor trafficking of children is just the most devastating part of it to me because it's everywhere. It's in everything we do, in our phones, in the food we eat, in the clothes we buy, and it impacts us daily anytime we purchase something, every time we consume something, and I just didn't know.
This group, now one of the most popular social clubs in school.
It's an issue that at my school I feel it gets very little male representation, and I feel like it's important for both genders to be involved and to take action.
I see things like I'll see a t-shirt, for example, and I'll be, oh, maybe someone was taken from their family and had to be forced to make that shirt rather than it being made fair trade.
It's not just about raising awareness and raising funds, you also lobby government. Explain how that works.
We take a group of students down to the Capitol. Everyone splits up and goes to their representatives and either they can write them notes and letters and things about why they think, why this issue is so important.
Kevin Glass, headmaster of the Atlanta International School, hopes these students will take the lessons learned here and share that knowledge, passion and activism as they move through college and into the workforce.
What do students bring to the table to tackle this issue that adults don't?
They bring this absolute, unvarnished honesty without any veneer of political correctness. And they challenge us, the adults, to wake up that this is a real issue and we have to do something about it. Their power is phenomenal.
Linda Kincaid, CNN, Atlanta.
Television is a medium of entertainment which permits millions of people to listen to the same joke at the same time and yet remain lonesome. A quote from the poet T.S. Eliot. Could the same thing be said about social media? People join it to get connected to others, but a new study published in the American Journal of Preventive Medicine has linked increased social media use to higher levels of perceived social isolation. In plain English, the more time people spent on sites like Facebook or Twitter or Tumblr or Vine, the more isolated or lonely they were likely to feel, according to the study. What's not clear is if people feel more isolated because of what they're seeing on social media, or if people who already feel isolated are spending more time on social media to connect with others. But the study says that either way, those feelings of isolation are often associated with sickness, weight, or sleep problems. It was a beautiful setting for a wedding, a beach in the Philippines soaked in sunlight. But the bride and groom were a couple of real dogs. The ceremony was organized by a group of friends, human friends, who wanted to show other people how important canine companions are. The animals were all dressed in their Sunday best, though the big outdoor celebration, which included a ceremony and a meal, left at least one guest dog-tired. Kind of wonder if there was a minister or just a veterinarian, and if that person had his dogter of the howology. Did he pronounce the happy couple dog and wife? Did they ride off in a carriage or a carrier? Whatever vehicle it was, we just hope pets were allowed. If not, they could expect a litter of complaints. Do you like wedding puns? I do! This is CNN 10.